Here's the story of what the NBA, the East of the NBA, is like without LeBron James. You witnessed it. I'm using that word intentionally and to be kind of sarcastic. We're watching the Raptors and the Bucks take turns trying to lose the series, okay? This is what we had. No, I'm serious.
You're so right, though. You're so right. I can say preach 100 times.
I mean, it's ridiculous. If you didn't watch, if you're living in a cave and you didn't watch the game last night, Giannis Antetokounmpo's, I'm not a Bucks fan, all right? Faith in his team remained unshaken. When asked whether the Bucks were going to crumple the way the Celtics did in the conference semifinals, he shot back with a stern answer. We're not going to fold, Giannis said, cutting off the question. We're the best team in the league. We're going to go in, give it everything we got. We can't fold. No, you just said we're not going to. We can't fold. We're going to come back to Milwaukee being pissed. Not as much as your fans were.
You're the best team in the league, but that was the regular season. This is a whole other animal.
Look, anybody who's watching this series who honestly believes they have a chance against Golden State, it's like, make it stop! Make it stop! Oh, my dogs. Somebody just rang the doorbell. It was a delivery.
I think Toronto has more depth than Milwaukee does. I think they could spread the court and make it a little bit more entertaining than the Warriors. I mean, against the Warriors versus Milwaukee, he's only just got Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I mean, to me, it doesn't matter whether it's the Bucks or the Raptors. It's all cannon fodder. It doesn't matter. They don't have enough personnel who can come up large game in, game out. Here's the deal. If you look at that game, I sat and watched that game, and the Bucks had so many chances. Not only did they jump out to a double-digit lead in the first quarter, and the game came down to the last 2 minutes. Antetokounmpo slammed down an alley-oop from Brogdon with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left, and they were only down by 1. Kawhi Leonard then missed a three-pointer. But as Giannis and Leonard jostled for the rebound, Giannis landed awkwardly on his right ankle and inadvertently fouled the Raptors player. And of course, Giannis was walking gingerly on his ankle. He had tweaked the same ankle during the regular season. With the Greek Freak on the bench, the Raptors then built a 3-point lead. A series of late mistakes, most notably Brogdon's turnover and a missed easy jumper by Chris Middleton, proved costly. You know, it's really funny. And then who stood up for Giannis afterwards? Well, Kyle Lowry did, because he knows all about choking in the playoffs, doesn't he?
Playoff mode activated.
My God. One thing about Giannis, he's been playing his ass off, Lowry said, just like I do every single game, except the ones that matter. Yeah. For all the talk about this guy's going to be great, the fact is, what about now? And you know, who are the two veterans on this team? After the game, George Hill, former Cavalier, and Bledsoe left without speaking to reporters. Isn't that what you want your leaders to do? Unaccountable. Unaccountable. That's what you are. Fuck George Hill. I thought I shot George Hill today. I shot him in the head. Now, isn't that what Joan Baez song?
Joan Baez reference.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It was better
Bobby
than
Dylan's birthday today. Give it up for Bobby D.
Oh, really? How old is he?
70 something. Yeah, it's
78. I saw.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, I can't remember your name. I'm senile, and there ain't no place I'm going to. Yeah,
you know what's going to be the only good thing about the finals, Mr. Moohead? If
What's
the Raptors go, is going to be Drake, Troll, and Curry. That's it. Like Spike Miller.
That's what we're down to here? Goodness gracious.
Maybe Draymond Green revert back to his old form. Maybe he'll kick Drake in the nuts. Who knows?
I would love that. I would love that.
That could be the high point of the series. Who knows?
I would love to see Drake holding his nuts in the center of the court and the team takes a timeout just to watch him.
Yeah. Somebody to rub his shoulders.
Here's not just what I think about the East Finals, but the facts about the East Finals is that nobody really cares. And one person knows how little everyone cares, and that's LeBron James. Because, you see, there's a solar system, and LeBron James is the sun. In fact, scientists claim that there could be thousands of solar systems like ours. But LeBron believes he's the sun in every single one of them. But be that as it may, LeBron James likes an Instagram post of Kyrie in a Lakers jersey, and all attention says, fuck the Malcolm Brogdons of the world. Let's talk about real basketball players again, shall we? So LeBron diverts attention in the midst of this debacle in the East in order to try to drum up support for his Lakers, to bring up the possibility that they might be getting back together again. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Kyrie and LeBron back together in Los Angeles.
Like Martin and Lewis.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just think of all the people, Abbott and Costello, the tandem, Laurel and Hardy, and LeBron and Kyrie.
LeBron's going to be illegally on the phone calling everybody during the offseason.
But that's not all. That's not all. LeBron is like making headlines because he's got a cover for the fact that there is no real final series in the East. LeBron James is trying to woo Jimmy Butler away from the 76ers. Well, how much would it take? I mean, really? Jimmy Butler is probably sitting there saying, well, I guess it was a little better than Minnesota, ... But, I mean, what love does he have? It's not like he's sitting there, going down on the Rocky statue. It's Philadelphia, It's fucking cheesesteaks and people who boo Santa Claus. It's really no big deal, really. But Jimmy Butler, that's not going to put the Lakers over. You know what pushes the Lakers over is Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is the one person, and he's playing hurt. He's not bitching about it. He's not pulling a Giannis and making faces whenever he makes shots or becoming the evil grimace every time he turns an ankle. Kawhi Leonard is the guy. He's a two-way player, which Jimmy Butler claims to be. But Jimmy Butler doesn't win. Kawhi Leonard wins. That's who LeBron really wants. But LeBron is doing his recruiting thing for a team that is going to fuck it up in the long run anyway. But I just think it's interesting that LeBron can steal headlines when the finals, the conference finals, and it's like nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a goddamn.
But doesn't it feel like this Eastern Conference Finals? Doesn't it feel like both teams are losing the series? I mean, I know Toronto's up 3-2, but it feels like the series was so lackluster. It just feels like both teams are supposed to lose the series.
Well, I mean, if it weren't for Kawhi Leonard, they would have already lost the series. I mean, if you're depending upon another year of Lowry or Marc Gasol or whatever else they have on the floor, Powell and, the gang's all here. These guys make a habit of losing. And honestly, neither of these teams would have survived LeBron with the Cavaliers. I'm sorry. They would have taken one look at him and they would have fudged their underwear. That's the truth. But I share another story with you. It's like, how does the NBA attempt to bring luster to a league?
Oh, no, I'm not watching it. It needs to do something.
Well, no, I mean, when, so we have this big thing about lottery changes, and we got the teams now who are going to be picking, and everyone's just going to tune in and just get like, okay, Zion is going to New Orleans, and, and okay, Morant's going second and he's going to the Grizzlies. Okay. And then after they get beyond the first 3 or 4 players who everyone knows who they're going to be, then it's just like 52 pickup because nobody nobody cares about these players.
The 10th pick could be just as good as the 4th pick. The 15th pick could just be as good as the 5th pick.
Yeah, and that's the honest truth. But now we're getting articles like this, okay? NBA scouts finally see 7'7" Taco fall, as legit NBA prospect, all right? You might not be aware of Taco Fall.
Okay? Florida Atlantic or whatever. What was he? Florida Atlantic or who?
Yeah, he's that black kid, that 7'7" tall guy.
Yeah. I mean, this guy, I watched him play, and I can honestly tell you he sucks. Okay?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He's the white version of George Mirasan.
I mean, no, it isn't even that. It's that what's the point of being 7'7" if you shoot the ball from below your shoulders? And that's what he does.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched him getting his shot blocked by 6'4" guards. I'm not making this up.
If I was 7'7", I would have a lot more skills than he has. Definitely.
I mean, it's it's really great.
He has no foot.
Taco Fall, he visited the Sacramento Kings. Doesn't that somehow just make sense to y'all? Doesn't that make sense? It's like, oh my God, Vlade Divac. So I think I've seen the future.
Wow.
Taco Fall. I mean, how tall is he? Just in stocking feet, 7'5" and a quarter, and shoes 7'7". His standing reach is over 10 feet, 2.5 inches. His wingspan is 8 feet and 2.25 inches. He'd be the tallest player in the league by 4 inches, but here's the problem.
What's the problem?
At 7'7", he's only 288 pounds. He's really not very strong. I think that'd be a nice way of putting it.
Have you seen his footwork? It's terrible.
I know. He would just stand under the basket, and he was like the chief in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
He's that one guy on the Clippers. That one tall guy. They just give him the ball and he just dunks it, and everyone's just like, "Oh my God!" But when you take him 3 foot outside the basket, you're like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, I mean,
range. Huh?
Here's how they're gonna stat this guy out. By the way, he was at UCF.
Central Florida.
This past season, he ranked in the 99th percentile in points per possessions around the basket. No player to average 3 or more post-up attempts shot anywhere close to the 69.3% that Taco did against midgets in the conference that he played in.
Well, when you can walk up to the basket and dunk it without having to jump, I think he'll shoot 100%.
Unless Taco's under the basket, he's not nothing spectacular, trust me. He'll be out of the NBA in a year or so.
Yeah, and here's interesting. It's tough to comprehend how a player could have working legs and total just 4 transition points in 822 minutes, though it makes more sense when seeing his 3.78 second three-quarter court sprint time, the slowest at the combine. It's like, I mean, he's like molasses, He also had the worst standing jump, 22 inches.
He doesn't need to jump.
Rick's got a higher verticality than that. And he had the slowest lane agility time. A 43% free throw shooter. I mean, come on, you're going to foul him instantly. He's oh my God.
He makes Greg Oden look better than him. Yeah, let's just put it like that.
They leave Greg Oden alone, man. He's got his degree now.
He makes Greg Oden look like a superstar.
But, here's the thing that's beautiful about him. 115 career games, he had 50 total assists.
Beautiful.
Actually, that's more than Colin Sexton. No, we won't go there. But that's actually fewer than 1 assist every 40 minutes every year that he played at UCF. He's heavy-footed. He has bad form on hook shots and jump shots. Why is this article being written?
Why is it?
I mean, what's the point?
Is that the only team that has the pick and roll over, or what?
Oh my God! It's like
basically, I think they're trying to make it look like another Zion sweepstakes. another Zion, like, oh, here goes another guy that can be like Zion. Make sure to tune on ESPN. The guy's terrible. I've seen his highlights. Terrible. He plays, and they said there's, the fans want transparency so they can see that, hey, we can see what they're saying and how they came to this conclusion. So that way, the fans can say, okay, we can see why he came to this call. Well, with the draft lottery, you can't see how the selection process actually got to that point. Should they televise how the ping pong balls are picked and selected? So that way we don't think it's scripted.
You know something? I'm at the point now where if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And I don't want all of this bullshit, you know what transparency is to me? Transparency is a way to confuse the public into believing the shit that you're throwing at them. And it's been going on in politics for years, and it's going on in professional sports.
But people say it's a coincidence. AD's leaving New Orleans, so they gift wrapped him Zion as a.
No, it's no coincidence at all. But I mean, in the end, did you really believe that Lee Harvey Oswald by himself killed John F. Kennedy? Did you really believe that? And did you really believe that the body, that they just kind of buried it at sea? And they just disposed of the fucking body. They buried him at sea. If you don't know that, that is the fact. John F. Kennedy's body, they were going to let anybody examine that mofo. No fucking way. Lee Harvey Oswald didn't do that. Lee Harvey Oswald didn't fire off that many shots from a book depository. Come on.
It's like the Lakers got the fourth pick, and the percentage was 1%, less than 1%. If you're going to have a less than, I want to see how they got to that.
Why? You're going to keep watching it anyway. It doesn't matter. That's what Vince McMahon proved. It's like, yep, we're fake. It's entertainment. And more people watch. You don't get it. People don't want the truth. Because people just want whatever fantasy they want.
It seems like a guy just walked in the room and said, okay, you got first, you got second, you got third, you got fourth, because we're not in that room to verify what they're doing.
Look, if you believe what they tell you, I mean, if what you're saying is correct and it was rigged, then anything they tell you is a lie. So why should they go through this whole transparency routine? If you believe that Donald Trump's taxes are on the up and up, he doesn't have to show them. Okay? Yeah. And if he shows them and it turns out that he didn't pay any fucking taxes because he wrote everything off as business expenses that weren't, and he should have gone to jail. But if you believe in Donald Trump, anything he says, you're going to believe. It doesn't make any difference. We're not living in the times of truth. We're living in the times of fantasy. Nobody wants to know the truth. If you knew the truth, we'd probably be a weaker country than we already are, because it would be so disheartening to find out what's going on and how companies are getting major leg up on people and how people have no chance of ever being upwardly mobile economically in this country anymore. That you can't rise from poverty to be somebody important. You can't. It doesn't happen anymore. They're trying to throw you out of the country, build walls around you. The fact of the matter is they're not improving education in the inner cities, and the inner cities themselves aren't doing anything to promote the importance of education. Look, you want truth. There's plenty of it to be had, but nobody wants to hear about it. Nobody wants to hear about the fact that God didn't do this and God didn't do that. Nobody wants that. People want to believe what they want to believe. They want to put their lives, I hate to say it, in the hands of the Lord.
Okay, I'm just going to say the last comment on the NBA draft lottery and I'll let it go. All I'm saying is that it's a 14% chance for the bottom four teams, and all the other teams have a less percent. So you don't have to have the best record to get the first pick. It just doesn't make sense the way they're doing it. It makes no sense.
Well, it serves their purpose like any other business. What makes sense? I mean, what in our government makes sense?
Okay, you got a good point.
I mean, what the hell is being done for everyday workaday people? What? Every time Donald Trump comes out and says, look at the stock market, people like you and You can't afford the stocks. What's it matter to you?
You're right. You're right.
I mean, it's foolishness. It's like, yes, if you're one of the privileged few people who can afford that shit, and if you have the ability to inside trade because you have all kinds of insider information, yes, you will get wealthier. Or if you're lucky like Woody Johnson, you were born into the right family.
That's why you see certain countries in as far as China or certain countries even in Africa literally chasing their middle class out, making them go to other countries.
Well, look, I mean, I don't even know what middle class is in America anymore because more and more people have plunged below the poverty line. There's a greater division now between the haves and the have-nots. And this is not just the Trump administration, folks. This has been happening steadily for the past 40 years. All right.
Yeah,
This is like nothing new, But again, we don't want the truth. We want to be entertained, and we don't want any of the truth to disrupt our entertainment, So we really don't care if somebody's on illegal drugs or performance-enhancing drugs. We really don't care, if somebody gets killed in the octagon, we really don't care about that, we want to be entertained, if a boxer dies in the ring and there was no ambulance, nobody at ringside to take care of him. Hey, it was a hell of a knockout though, wasn't it? I'm gonna get the next pay-per-view, God damn it. This is what it is, If Owen Hart has the ultimate prop fail and plunges to his death, it's like, wow, that was cool. Did you see that? He fell 250 feet on a turnbuckle and crushed his sternum. Wow, I'm glad I was here to see that. I got my money's worth at this WrestleMania. Hell yeah.
And Vince loves to profit off of dead wrestlers, too.
Look, and the NFL loves to profit off brain damaged people, too. I mean, this is the times we live in, and nobody wants the truth. And the truth ruins everything because it ruins people's fantasies, because we live vicariously through athletics. And the reason? Because we're not doing so good ourselves. It's like, I want the Browns to become champions because my miserable fucking life is going nowhere. I'm still working at the same fucking job that I was 25 fucking years ago. And I'm not done. They're making me work way harder. And they never give me a raise. But something, come Sunday, I want my Browns to win, goddammit. Something good has to come of this whole thing. That's what life is. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. I mean, I'd like to tell you that you're going to wake up tomorrow. I mean, you might win a scratch off. I mean, you might. But, you keep buying lottery tickets, so it's just another form of taxation. The thing that Trump doesn't pay. It's all taxation. Go ahead.
My parents told me, I always tell them that sports is rigged and corrupt, and they're like, sports is corrupt is a representation of your everyday life.
Yeah, people accept it. So what did you expect? Yeah, and wait a minute. No, I don't want to have dinner tonight. I'm going to go out and kick a transgender person to death. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a good old time. Woo! No, I mean, nobody wants to know. Nobody gives a shit.